Hey, I've had some thoughts about creating a YouTube channel for a long time. I already have one video up that you can probably see. It's a yoga flow. But I was thinking tonight about some other things, and I wanted to have this for a while. One of the reasons why I got into yoga several years ago, about 2 years ago actually, it was kind of a working back from a personal issue that I have. I stutter, and my stutter happens most often when I was anxious, and I realized that. I realized that whenever I took the time to breathe, that breathing slowed me down, and that breathing allowed me to be more present, and that breathing allowed me to be less anxious, and that was kind of a revelation for me, because as I did research on that, I kind of wormholed my way down into the concepts of being mindful and being present and all that, right? So that was, I think, in like January, February, early of 19, 18, 17 or so. I was becoming more aware of my emotions and my anxiety, and I began to realize how powerful my breath was and how much I had let stress and trying to please people, feeling overwhelmed, all that was taking a big effect on me. And whenever I was less anxious and less concerned about having to be a thing and give a thing and all this extra stuff, I was more present and I was more grounded and I stuttered less. So that was the thing that happened early on in 2017. Looking up yoga, I have been practicing yoga on and off for several years. I got my parents, and then of course on my own spot that I have now. And it was always, of course, for the physical benefits, like we always do. We always look up yoga for the positions and the posing and what they call us asanas and things as well. And it was cool and grand and dandy, but it wasn't in the space that I was in my life in that time. It wasn't enough, and I wanted to devote and invest myself into a practice and understand it to its fullest extent. So July or so, my homie and I, Ray, were going up to shoot a wedding in Pennsylvania, and the week or two prior on the trip coming back, I was doing some heavy research into yoga. And that was kind of what solidified me, because a part of what I found out in looking up yoga more in depth was an element of yoga. And even now, as I'm researching a lot more of yoga now myself, I'm seeing that there are so many different elements of yoga. Anyway, an element of yoga speaks to there being 8 limbs, and one of the limbs it's called a yama. The yamas have 5 or 4 elements, and one of them is one that's called something. It's defined as speaking your truth, and it's funny because my tattoo in Hebrew says "speak your truth." I got that tattoo for my 26th or 7th birthday, I think it was. And speaking your truth speaks to me, obviously, but it also speaks to affirming, not denying, not lying to self or lying to others about what's going on with me. And that was huge, because for so many years I had not given space to myself to feel, to understand, to experience, to exist. I had so many feelings and thoughts about life, and I had learned the habit of suppressing, ignoring, avoiding what I felt about myself, about interactions that I may have had, about relationships, about friendships, my parents, about my ex-girlfriend, about other friends of mine, coworkers. I mean, all kind of things and people and experiences came to me, and I had a response, and I had an interaction, and I had a reaction, but I had grown up such that I had learned to suppress and to not give full expression to what I was thinking and feeling. So that was another revelation for me when I realized that not only breathing helped with my anxiety, but then as I breathed, was present and mindful, was grounded in each moment, felt less rushed, felt less anxious. Adding on to that, the practice of yoga, which is about balance, about uniting the mind and the body and the spirit. And that one element, speaking your truth, not denying yourself the truth of yourself, that really shook me up, and that got me on this path to even dig deeper into yoga and to find myself even more too. So anyway, all that to say, I'm wanting to kind of restart, jump into this yoga channel. And I didn't know how to for a long time. I'm an actively recovering perfectionist. That's a thing I'm sure that many of us are involved in right now. And for months, probably, I could say, I struggled with how I would start this channel. It's going to be about yoga, whether it was going to be about mindfulness or healthy eating or dope quotes or whatever. And I'm not quite sure just yet exactly, but I do know that I can tell my story, because that's always interesting. That's always true. So a part of my story is this, that I still have not overcome my stutter. I still find myself in situations daily where I'm anxious, or I'm stressed, or I feel overwhelmed. And I realized some time ago that overcoming things is not a 1-time or 2-time or 10-time thing and then you're good. Overcoming things is a every day, every week, in new ways, in fresh ways, in new situations, with new relationships and interactions. You're presented with a chance to fight back how you used to live and to become a new, different person. And it's frustrating because I'm a perfectionist, and I hoped that a year or two ago when I realized, okay, breathe, okay, be mindful, be present, all those things would have made me better, but it hasn't. It's made me more aware of myself and more aware of why things are and how to do things differently. But I have to apply those things every day. So I want to put up this video for one reason, to put up an initial video on my channel, on my page. This is me creating a thing. This is me saying I'm gonna be consistent and honest about where I am as a human, as a creative, as a yoga practitioner, as a truth seeker, as a writer, as an artist, as a music lover, as a foodie, as all those things that make up who Titus is, who Ivy is, who Edward is. So check me out a little more often. I'm not quite sure the regularity of the vlog or of the post, the videos. I know I'm gonna have, of course, content, yoga sequencing, yoga flows, to share about how to do better, how to practice yoga better. I'm gonna have some thought-provoking videos at some point as well, and other things that kind of work around my brand that I'm gonna be creating, that I am creating right now as well. So check me out. Um, Follow me on IG. Follow me on Twitter. Subscribe to this channel, of course, as well. And yeah, we'll see you soon. Peace.